You're welcome back to the Naija Filmmaker, a podcast for us to talk about Nigerian filmmakers, their films, and how it can build a diverse and functional industry. I'm your host, Sele. On this episode, I'll be talking about Nigerian films in the international market and why Nigerian filmmakers need to think globally. If you're a new listener, you're welcome and I hope you enjoy. So on Sunday, I took part in the Iroko Critic Film Club, which happens on Twitter Spaces from 6 to 8 p.m. And we're talking about the future of Nollywood, and that leads us to today's topic. I feel that a potential contributor to the success of Nollywood in the future is our ability to compete in the global markets. Box office earnings is a game of numbers. The more people that watch your film, the more revenue you're going to make. And I think Nigerian filmmakers need to honestly ask themselves, how many Nigerians can and want to pay for your film? I feel there's a greater task in changing our cinema-going culture, and this won't happen overnight. So in the meantime, Nigerian filmmakers can make their films more appealing to international audiences. Nollywood has traversed the African continent. However, this is as a result of piracy. These pirates have established networks that enable them to quickly move pirated films across borders and into markets that the demand exists. Sometimes they even go the extra mile of dubbing these films into local languages. Producers need to take control of the whole value chain for their film and be ready to cater to foreign audiences in the sense of dubbing their films or doing subtitles. This is one way that they'll be able to tackle the work of the pirates. In the short term, I feel for Nollywood to keep making money, we need to, appeal to audiences globally, which will in turn increase foreign earnings that can go into more projects. The long-term plan could be to build infrastructure. That means more cinemas, more screens, and exploring some form of community cinemas, which will make these films accessible to rural audiences. Even though Netflix releases a lot of content in different languages, they usually dub and subtitle some of these films, and this hasn't phased international audiences from sitting through the subtitles, to enjoy good content. And I feel, we have a lot to learn from that example as an industry. So I'll be talking about 3 ways that, we can appeal to international audiences. The first one is through story. The second one is through co-productions. And the third one is by increasing the production value of our films. Now on to the first point. Story is about characters, and human beings have common struggles that most of us can relate to. Whether it's a story about relatives fighting over inheritance, a love story, or one of redemption, we need to look for stories that can be told everywhere. The refreshing part of this is setting that story in a local context. This is what will differentiate a heist film that is shot in Japan from one that is shot in Nigeria. International audiences are eager to find out how other people live and, the similarities in what we all go through as human beings. I'd say that most of our films are doing well on streaming platforms in other countries. It's largely based on the Nigerians that live there. The next frontier for Nigerian filmmakers is to take a chunk of the international cinema-going audience by, first of all, making human stories that more people will be able to relate to. So my next point is co-productions. A co-production is a venture between 2 or more production companies in different countries. An official co-production is made possible by agreement between countries. This is usually to achieve economic, cultural, and diplomatic goals. They open new markets for film and television programs and can increase the output of high-quality productions. The key attraction for filmmakers is that they can access benefits that are available to local film and television companies in each country, such as government financial assistance, tax concessions, and inclusion in domestic broadcast quotas. Now, for examples on co-production treaties that exist between other countries and 3 African countries. The first one is Senegal. Senegal has a co-production agreement with Brazil, which dates back to 1975. They also have with Canada, France, Mexico, and Morocco. Another example is South Africa. They have co-production agreements with Australia, Canada, France, Germany, Ireland, Italy, Netherlands, New Zealand, and the UK. Meanwhile, the last time I checked, Nigeria is in advanced talks with several countries, but none of the agreements have been ratified. Amongst other things, it helped producers to find funding for their film and also to find distribution in foreign territories, which will eventually increase the potential for more money to be made. My third point is about production value. We need to have high quality visuals, sound, music, and acting in our films on a very consistent basis, not just on a few films. We should also explore shooting more scenes outside because life doesn't always happen in the comfort of our homes. We need to see more in terms of locations, props, properly color graded films. This doesn't always have to be expensive. You can leverage your relationships to score a few favors and freebies. And this in turn will improve how our movies compete in the international marketplace. In conclusion, the more people see your films in cinema or stream it, the higher your chances of making a profit on your film. You need to be super intentional in making your film for an international audience. This doesn't mean selling out or watering down your story. You just need to film locally and think globally. All the best as you work to take your film to new audiences. We have come to the end of this episode. Please remember to leave a rating and a review. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Sele and the podcast also on Instagram and Twitter at the Naija Film Pod. See you on the next episode. Have a good one.